So today we're going to be talking about one of my most favorite brands, Wolfe FX. It is a wax-based paint that is activated by water, and they have these really cool ready-to-go palettes that have removable paints that you can replace them as you need to. And on the packaging it states that over time they can crack, which they do, but it does not affect the paint in any way whatsoever. I can still use it perfectly. So I'm going to teach you how to do one of the most basic SFX looks, which is a bruise. Using a couple different sponges, we can do it 4 different ways, all coming from the same palette. Now there are many other bruise palettes and wheels out there to use, but this is just to show you that you can still use a standard essential palette and get basically the same look. What I was just doing was picking off the edges of the sponge to give it a texturized look. Now you can see the paint doesn't fill all the way up, you're just getting the outside of the sponge wet. Lightly dipping it into the red and then tapping the area where you want the bruise to be. Now I am kind of creating a circular manner so it looks like there was a point of impact, which all bruises have a point of impact and sometimes they are irregular, but I was going for more of a blunt force trauma. Now dip the same side of that sponge into the blue and lightly tap it more towards the inner area of that circle we're going for. Use the opposite side and the sides of the sponge to soak up any excess water and get it to blend. Now that is your most basic SFX bruise. Very easy. If you want to go a step farther, dip lightly into the black and into the red to create a darker red. Apply it the same manner, the tapping, the lightly soaking up the water with the sides and edges of the sponge. Tap back into the blue. Same thing, just to deepen the look. As you can see, the darker the red and more blue that there is, the harder the impact looks. So this can be a really great effect if you're going for something extremely painful looking. For an added bonus, use something called a stipple sponge. Just slightly put it into the black and the red to create a darker red and drag it through the bruise. This sponge is a little more unforgiving and harsh, but it's perfect for creating these scraped effects. Hold on a second. Okay. I realized most of these tutorials don't tell you why a bruise looks the way that it does. They tell you what colors it should be, but they don't actually say why. So let me bring in somebody that might be able to explain this.
Sir, we're already recording.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay. Let's see. We're talking about bruises. Bruises are broken capillaries or blood vessels that. That's what I said. The blood leaks outside of the capillaries and it looks red because it first carries the hemoglobin. Okay. This is nasty. This is sick. Who wants to know about this? Why would people be looking at this?
There's a tutorial.
No, this is. It doesn't make any sense. This stuff happening on the inside. Everybody knows, nobody cares what's on the inside. It's what's on the outside that matters. I don't have time for this. I've got inventory and I gotta go. Thanks for having me. We'll do this again. Never. What I think Bill was trying to say is when you get hit with something, it breaks the capillaries or the blood vessels right under your skin, which the blood will leak out, and blood has red iron in it, which carries hemoglobin, which is responsible for carrying oxygen through your body. It will start to turn blue, green, yellow, brown, all those pretty shades as it starts to heal and the body's breaking down the hemoglobin and reabsorbing it. That, in essence, is what a bruise is. Alright, enough from my old anatomy physiology classes, back to the tutorial. Now we're going to create a healing bruise, which tends to look yellow and greenish on certain skin tones. So taking the sponge, stamping in the yellow, lightly making sure the edges are nice and blended out. Take some green, and we're going to do the same circular type of motion because typically it will heal in the same pattern that it was caused by. Now add some red to mimic the broken capillaries that are starting to heal. Also, the same with the blue. It's healing, but we want to still show the force of the impact where it happened in the middle area. There it is, all nice and complete. Now we can spruce it up just like the first one. Add a touch more red, more blue, just like before, but this time you're going to take the small brush that comes with it. It's actually perfect. You just wet it very slightly, dip it into the blue, and slowly drag it along the edges of the bruise. This will give the look of veins starting to pop up. This is really good for if you want to start the look of, like, say, an infection or a bite. It's a really good base for that. Alright, here is the final shot of creating easy SFX bruises, making 4 looks from one palette. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. You can find me at Bagel Queen on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.